Welcome back to Gospel Times. Here with Kayla J and Reverend Louise Williams Bishop. It is time to get mentally church with our favorite girl, none other than Leah Lloyd. Good morning, Leah. How are you feeling today?
Good morning on today. How are you doing? I'm here. I'm here.
You here?
I'm here. That's good, right? I'm good.
I, Listen, I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you're good because I know that you have some deep issues we should talk about on today.
Oh, we're gonna get into it. It's some stuff we just gotta talk about. So we're gonna get into it.
Well,
But
let's
yeah.
dive on in.
All right, all right. We didn't do our wellness check.
I did. I said, "How you
Oh, you
feeling?"
didn't tell me to give you a number.
My bad. My bad. That's my bad. On a scale from 1 to 10, how you feeling?
I am at a 6.5 on my way to 7. Yes, that's where I am. I
On my
am.
way to
It is.
7 because I'm
Yeah.
headed to heaven. I got the
Oh,
bars
I
set.
like that. All right. All right. God bless.
Yes.
Bars. I love it. Yeah. So as I said before we started, I'm not gonna be before you long on today. But I do want to talk about a few things. So we're gonna jump in and we're gonna talk about change and change in the context of seasons, life transitions. And if I was doing a sermon topic as the preachers do, I'd be like, life be lifing. That's our subtitle for today. Life be lifing.
Life, and
There is so much happening concurrently. And if anyone is paying attention, you have felt all of the different waves of life, politically, socially, the weather, emotionally, personally. There is just a lot happening in the world of adulting, as the millennials say. And so I just want to talk about just navigating that. This is not going to be so much of a how to, it's just like I just want to bring it up and highlight some things and lift it up and just let y'all know that we have to normalize a lot of what's happening. And so we have seasons in our lives, and each season has its own unique weather, temperature. Like if we were farmers, there's different crops that come up. So you have like seasonal foods that come up that we have. We have winter, fall, winter, spring, summer, and they each season only lasts a specific amount of time, which lets us know that seasons are temporary. They continue to move, 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 move. But the thing that is constant is change. We know that with each day, something is going to change. And as each season comes in and another goes out, uh, that is the constant of change. And so being able to lean into understanding that transition is a part of life and that change is a part of life. And that we have to acknowledge that change is constant. If you hear my stomach, I do apologize, but change is constant and it is not a single or isolated occurrence. And as we like to believe that it is, like everyone's like, I don't like change, I don't like change. But if you really sit with it and really accept that your day is different from yesterday, which means you have already leaned into change. You may have your set routines, you may have things that you like to be a certain way, but typically we don't wear the same clothes every day. We, uh, as Black people, we change our hairstyles pretty often, right? We like to be stylish, so we're going to probably wear different shoes and different outfits and things like that. And so that's just superficial, but those things we accept, we lean into the change like that. But acknowledging that our lives are not going to continue to look and be the way that they want them to be all the time. We can set our goals, we can have intentions, but we still have to leave space for what just is and what happens. And what typically rocks us is that we get really comfortable and we like consistency, but we like things to be the same because that in our minds, it cues us to think that we have stability and security, the things that are basic needs that we want met. Acknowledging that change is constant releases us and frees us from being so tightly held to that change that life is just going to stay in one space and that nothing is ever going to change. And if we lean into life is going to change, there's seasons that come, it also releases us from the anxiety and the fear that we attach to change and being open to it, excuse me. So saying, you know what, I'm not sure, I have a plan, but I'm not really sure how this is going to roll out in the next couple of months, but I'm going to be open to what happens. I'm going to be open to change. That says that I'm not going to be fearful. I'm going to be open. And then you don't have to hold on to that fear. And you're also allowing God into the space and saying, okay, God, I planned, I brought a plan, but I'm also partnering with you and leaving space for the other things to happen. And it is okay for us to ride the wave sometimes. Like that's a part of the acceptance. Life is going to be ebb and flow, ups and downs. People are like, life is a roller coaster. It is. You have some times where you're going up, 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 and then life will drop you. Sometimes you'll have a twist, you'll have a turn. Sometimes you're just coasting straight. You might have a little dip here and a little dip there. You can handle it. But if we just accept that life is going to be like that, but the constant is our relationship with Christ. And if we can be anchored in that and knowing that God is going to sustain us. And I want to refer back to conversations about joy, like being able to have something to hold on to. So happiness is not a constant. Sad is not a constant. Anger is not a constant. Those are just emotions that come in and out. The joy, we got to hold on to that. That should be something that is unwavering, that we anchor to so that we can be well. So that's where I sit with change and life transitions. And I'm sure as you all are listening and thinking, some things will come up. And I wanted to also share Ecclesiastes chapter 3, because this came to me as I was thinking about change. Especially like if we're paying attention to like social media and things like that, we are seeing a lot of people check out, and suddenly, tragically, some not so tragically. Some people have been blessed with long life, others life has been cut short, and it's all very devastating, and it's jarring because we think that time is something that we can freeze and hold on to. But as we talk about change, time is always moving. Time is always is changing. Things change with each minute and each second. And so Ecclesiastes chapter 3 states, there is an occasion for everything, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to give birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to avoid embracing, a time to search and a time to count as lost, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, and a time for war and a time for peace. So the beauty of this scripture is that it literally is telling us it's a time for this and it's a time for that. It's a time for change, it's a time for transition. And as you see, the opposites, but there's always going to be a season for one. And the word has outlined it so beautifully. And we just reading that, it lets us know there's going to be a time for these things. And if nothing else, let me accept it so I can be mentally prepared, but not be fearful, just be aware.
Not be fearful, but just be aware. That is something that I know I can say that I struggle with, because we don't know what's happening. The unknown, the fear of the unknown is like so real. I know that transition has to happen. However, I want to be able to be prepared for the transition. I don't like to be caught off guard. What would you say for people like me? How do we weather that storm?
I don't like being caught off guard. You drive? Do you drive? Do you
No.
navigate traffic? Okay. Do you ride in a car?
Yeah.
It's not predictable. Traffic is not predictable. And then what I'm trying to say is that there are things that happen day to day that we do not predict, but we yield to. We accept that these things will happen. And so, one, you can prepare for anything. You can have an idea, but you just have to leave space for the unknown. But that lets us know that we have certain things that are in our control and certain things that are out of our control. And what fuels fear and anxiety is hyper focusing on what is out of our control. And statements like, I don't want to be caught off guard. Nobody really does, but we don't have control over that. And so accepting that I don't have control over all things, but I'm going to prepare for what I can. And then I'm going to trust God. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to pray for safety, pray for covering, pray for your health, and believe God for those things and just be prepared. But a lot of our lives, we prepare for fear, right? Like car insurance, life insurance, health insurance. Nothing may happen, but we pay for security, but it's still not guaranteed. So sometimes we're just gonna be caught off guard, and you just gotta accept it. But it's temporary, and you will be able to recover.
I like that analogy with the insurance. That makes sense. Ah, see, season of transition is just so hard. It's just
Yeah,
so hard.
it's tough. Life be life, and the thing about it is, life is gonna always life until it doesn't life anymore. And we are here. We've been blessed with life. What are you going to do with this time? Be thoughtful, be intentional, be purposeful. Can we talk about that? Being purposeful in the time that we have here that the Lord has granted us, and do the things that you are called to do, figuring out those things that you're called to do, but also know that things are going to happen and it is okay. It is okay. Yield to change, acknowledge it, accept it, and let's go ahead and keep living. Keep living. Don't be fearful. Don't stop. And flip that. Instead of being afraid of change and afraid of the future, be excited about what's to come. Look forward to the newness that can come and the excitement. And you may be blessed immensely, but you got to keep moving forward and keep accepting that change. Because change can mean that you go from being broke to being a millionaire. That could
I
catch you
like
off
that
guard.
change. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So, but you see, it's perspective, right? Instead of we go to we are naturally wired to default to the negative. A lot of people don't like to acknowledge that, but we are. We have to be intentional about shifting to the positive. So, if we were to think that the Lord is going to give me a life of abundance, something great is on the other side. I can believe that. Why not believe that as opposed to, oh my gosh, everything is terrible and it's awful and it's trash? No, it could be something greater on the other side. So I shouldn't fear it. I believe God that it's going to be better and better and better and better. And something that I have learned personally is that now is better than the past. And I remember having times in the past where I wanted this very thing. And this very thing may not be the greatest, but it was better than that. So what I can believe God is that with each change of season, it's going to keep getting better. It may not be all that I want it to be, but it's not like what I had before. And for that, I can be excited about because I know that God is going to shift and change and it's going to be great. And so, perspective is always helpful. If we have a healthy perspective around this, then things will not be so jarring and so fresh. They may hit you, they may slap you, life may drag you. But then you be like, all right, God, I know you still got something great for me on the other side.
Exactly. He got something great for each and every one of us. Leah, this was amazing. This was amazing. I appreciate you hitting us with this topic of transition, especially during this season, this
Mm-hmm.
holiday season.
Yeah.
So, of course, before you leave, want you to share how can people continue to get in contact with you and follow you when you're not here on Gospel Times.
Well, you can go to my website, journeybeyondcounseling.com. If you go there, you will actually see the little link icon that you can click on, and that'll direct you to my Instagram, Journey Beyond Counseling. On Instagram, you should be able to find me. You'll see my lovely face, but just with the beat on it. And you can DM me, contact. There's a little post on there, a little things you could click on and shoot me an email. But if you go to the website, go to contact me, and you can shoot me a little contact form, and that's how you can get in touch with me.
Awesome. Awesome. Leah, as always, I thank you so much for helping us get mentally churched right here on Gospel Times.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, folks, I'm Kayla J alongside Reverend Louise Williams Bishop. It's time to get right back to the music. You're listening to WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com.